So I imagine this might seem pretty random, but it is not. Funny story that is not that funny. This movie has been on TV a couple times recently, just, random afternoon TV, and it's really good. Hadn't watched it in a while, and said, hey, it's really good. I think I'll watch my old review of this from about 5 years ago when it came out, see if that holds up as well as the movie did. Come to find out that type in MovieBob, The Kid Who Would Be King, into Google search does not just bring up the fucking video, because why would it, but brings up a bunch of generative AI search results, already shitty, but that none of the generative AI search results, which use the phrase MovieBob says, are not only not linking to the video in question, which was not one of the ones that had been reposted to my channel just yet, because I didn't just re-upload every single older review, because at a certain point, all of the retro uploads actually started to drive down traffic, so we needed to find another solution to that. But they were not linking to even the original Escapist channel uploads of the video, and in fact, not linking to anything related to my channel, other channels' uploads of my content, but using the MovieBob name, which is my professional handle, and my production banner, linking to just nothing to do with me or anyone associated with me, which could well be some sort of generative AI slop error. I mean, that should piss me off, right? I don't think that's out of line or unreasonable. This is not just me hating AI in general, although I do, but if my name, my professional name, my company name, frankly, we've been doing things under MovieBob Productions for a couple years now, that feels like something I should be legitimately pissed off about. Pissed off in a legality sense, that would remain to be seen, but that kind of cheeses me off, yeah. But for now, maybe it's an innocent mistake on Google's part, to the degree that tech bro oligarchs can make innocent mistakes. Kinda doubt it. Kind of feel like at a certain point, if you have that much money, if you're that powerful as a company, nothing you do is actually innocent. Sort of feels like you're guilty until proven otherwise. But what it did remind me of is that, one, this movie is good, and that this particular review was not on the site. And just to prove a point, whereas normally when we do these re-uploads, some of the visuals get re-edited to bring them more in line with the newer reviews. This one I'm just putting up straight. Other than taking out the music and audio stingers, which I don't even think the Escapist has the rights to anymore, and using the newer audio, which I am able to use. No visual alterations, no changes to the credits or anything, just putting up the original one straight, so if there is some kind of scraping going on, at least it's scraping to the original, and just to get that all across. And hey, maybe that'll make the difference the next time someone Googles for this particular video, if anyone but me ever was. Once again, that's why this is going up in the context that it is, the way that it is. Fuck AI. And while I'm here and while I've got people's attention, fuck Mark Zuckerberg, fuck Elon Musk, fuck the incoming administration. Please give generously to victims of the California wildfires, currently still raging as I'm recording these words. Look out for one another, and rewatch this movie if you get a chance. As I say in the review, it is actually an excellent family film that did not get the proper attention when it was released, and remains still kind of underseen, which is a shame. I am Bob Chipman, MovieBob, the one and only. Peace out. Back in 2011, Joe Cornish, a British TV comedian and comedy writer, probably still best known to international audiences as that guy who works with Edgar Wright and is not Simon Pegg or Nick Frost, made a barn-burner feature directing debut with Attack the Block, a sci-fi comedy that upended the alien invasion genre with a class-conscious and uniquely contemporary British take on the genre, with the obligatory sharp-toothed space monsters beginning their invasion in a London public housing project and coming up against a group of inner-city teenagers who weren't just going to roll over for them. The film was a minor cult sensation that had a fairly healthy afterlife, but nonetheless it's taken him 8 whole years to get a follow-up together. That feels a bit unfair for everyone involved, but fortunately The Kid Who Would Be King turns out to be more or less worth the wait, though fans expecting anything similar to Attack the Block in tone or subject will want to leave those expectations behind. This is neither an edgy, nor dark, nor particularly kinetic feature. In fact, it feels more than anything like a budget-priced, self-produced audition reel, proving Cornish has the chops for directing more conventional, straightforward, big-scale family tentpoles, maybe a live-action Disney remake, or God help us, one of those Harry Potter prequels I guess they're going to keep on making. Make no mistake, it's a smart, sharply written, well-paced version of the type, but this is a wholly sincere, charming work of mid-tier kids' entertainment that's all the more agreeable for how little it seems to care about whether just slightly older teen teen audiences or genre fan adults can pull something extra from its margins. The Kid Who Would Be King is an old-fashioned kiddie adventure comedy elevated to the contemporary in all the most appropriate ways, and eventually arriving at the gentlest possible level of genre subversion, but otherwise distinguishable from the kind of random Saturday afternoon fare that once choked to the shelves of video store kids sections back when we had those things, mainly by being overall better produced. The premise is pretty straightforward as these things go. Set in a contemporary urban England, fragmented into collective gloominess by division, mistrust, and repeatedly stated feckless lack of proper leadership. Oh no, did something bad and or stupid happen? A bullied sad sack middle school boy named Alex, played by Louis Ashbourne Circus, yes, son of Andy, discovers and manages to withdraw the Sword in the Stone, like the real one, Excalibur, in a demolition site, and learns from the subsequently reappearing wizard Merlin, alternately reincarnated as a lanky teenage weirdo or Sir Patrick Stewart, that this marks him as the new chosen champion of Britain and indeed the world, and he must now use the sword to rally his schoolmates into a 21st century roundtable of knights for a coming battle for the fate of humanity against the wicked witch Morgana, who has been loosed from her magical prison by all the hatred and discord going on in the not all that United Kingdom. There's a 5-day countdown to get all this done, a team of friends to help out, one best buddy and a pair of former bullies made into allies because that's how Arthur did it, a quest to figure out exactly how they're supposed to do the whole defeating evil thing, and a fairly clever time distortion gimmick that allows the kids to engage in battles with Morgana's minions and endanger them but not anyone else, all building up to a very reason we made the movie feeling third act, centered on a Helm's Deep siege battle but with armored middle schoolers defending their school building from undead knights, a spectacle which, like the rest of the film, plays out in complete earnestness and feels like the most memorable moments of Attack the Block, come to think of it, consistently like a sequence the main characters would think up for themselves and are now starring in as themselves. Like, I appreciate the sequence as an adult, but it's because I recognize that when I was the age these kids are, this part of the movie would have been like the greatest thing I'd ever seen. What brings it all together, apart from Cornish simply being a very solid director, even as he appears to be deliberately eschewing the extreme stylization that was so heavily praised in Block, is that the cast of kids is very good, with the young Circus proving himself a natural lead with some fairly heavy material to hit once the film arrives at its eventual serious part. Well, as serious as a movie like this can get. As with many a Spielbergian protagonist before him, Alex is saddled with angst relating to a missing father figure, and is quick to assume that the appearance of Excalibur explains his life in the context of a secret noble bloodline a la Star Wars or Harry Potter, a trope that the film ends up having some thoughts about in a vein not dissimilar from that of The Last Jedi, though somehow I feel like Arthurian mythologists will be overall less pissy about it. Biggish ideas for an otherwise light film, but handled deftly, and the kid sells it, as do the others, tasked not only with acting as support characters with the arcs of their own, but also helping carry a subtle running theme about strength of diversity in modern Britain without coming out and stating it explicitly. The breakout star, though, is destined to be Angus Imrie as the teenage version of Merlin. The guy is a natural-born clown, playing it broad and inscrutable in order to justify the just because we said so logic of the magical rules, and damned if he doesn't pull it off consistently. Flat out hilarious, and if there's any justice, the dude will be a big star after this. The Kid Who Would Be King is the sort of movie that grown-up film geeks probably wouldn't give a second thought to if not for the person directing it, but it's also the kind of authentically sweet and dialed-in kids film by which young film geeks are forged, and while I found it perfectly charming, my suspicion is the audience for which it's intended will cherish it the way my generation did stuff like The Goonies or The Last Starfighter. 8 out of 10, definitely worth it.